Well, welcome to another My Harlow My Life, and as you can see, we've got another double act with us before, and now we've got the Chuckle Brothers. How about that? That ain't bad, is it? Hey, so big welcome to, of course, the first people you see with Harlow, George and Alan. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
Yeah, lovely.
So you've just now, all of a sudden, seems to have zoomed in on your phone, guys. So all of a sudden, I can only just see the tops of your heads now. So you seem to have zoomed in on your phone. I don't know what you've done.
There. Just let me. Any better?
That's a little bit better. I could just about see you. So we're just about see you. If Alan leans to his right, then we'll be okay.
You lean this way.
That's it. And you lean to your left, George. That's it. Now we can see you. Right.
Yeah, I think we're being over friendly.
So guys, so I mean, what have you been doing lockdown wise?
Not much. Hoping to get out, but not getting out. Just waiting for football, dreaming about it.
George?
Myself, I've got some people that are vulnerable to this COVID-19. So I've been doing like little tasks and little jobs for them to make sure that they keep safe.
Mm-hmm. Good. If you move your camera down a bit, because all I can see is literally top of your head, if you can just tilt it a little bit so we can see a bit more of you, that's better. That'll be better. That's better. A lot better. Yeah. So I suppose with you then, guys, I mean, where did you first come to get involved with Harlow Town, or what was your what year when was it that you got involved with Harlow Town first as a fan? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, the first got involved in 1966, and that was a friend of mine that persuaded me to go to Harlow to see him at the old sports centre, which was a lovely old place. And from there it went on and just seeing them, and then when my boys got old enough, I took them to Harlow, and then they was hooked on football and all. I've kept up going there, as I say. To me, it's my family now. I've been there so long, it's a family affair. But as I say, I enjoy it. It's always been a good laugh and all that lot. And that's my experiences of Harlow, going right the way back to 1966. And my son is always reminding me that it was his teacher that scored the winning goal against Leicester.
So go right back to then, Alan. I suppose the first manager would have been, is it Ralph Wetton?
Yeah.
That would have been the first manager for you. What about you, George?
Right, mine goes back to about the 80s. My friend of mine who used to work at United Glass, and he said that his mate was the physio. He goes, all right. In them days, it was a bucket of water and a sponge. You can cure many a thing in them days. His name was it Derek Gardner? I don't know if you know him, but he still actually turns up every now and then to watch a match. So he must be about, we worked out that he must be about 1,000 years old. He's really quite old, actually. Even when he was doing it then, he was old. But yeah, I remember going down to Barnet. What was it called? Was it Underhill?
Yep.
Something like Underhill. Not the newer one, but
yeah, the
I
old.
was standing behind one side of the goal, and the pitch was flat, and then it went down to one corner. So we could only see the top half of the players down one end. When they come up, it was like a stampede of elephants coming towards you.
So who was your first manager, George? Can you remember?
First manager, I don't know. I'm not good with managers. I took the two boys to watch at the sports centre, but I sat up in the stand because there's only one stand then. And I remember sitting up in the stand, and I looked behind me, and there's Jeff Bockwell.
Oh.
I mean, bloody hell! My brother used to go around with him,
right?
And he was just a normal lad, everyday lad who, did whatever. I heard he then went into security and that. And then when I heard that he was name of the club, that sort of enticed me to go a lot more.
Mm. So I suppose one of the things that for people that don't realise what job roles you guys do at Harlow, of course George and Alan do the turnstile there. But I mean, are you going to be getting ready to do rectal exams and stuff like that when you go back then to take temperatures and stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to do that side of it.
Yeah, you know, I'm the one. I'm the cleaning that agent.
That job's a bit of a bummer, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
I got the power washer, portable power washer, and we go away. Then we know the season is about to start.
So, do you guys know when the season's allowed to start? Have you seen it in the news? So, the season can start
You,
1st of August.
yeah,
1st of August,
usually,
first pre-season friendly, and first league game is the September the 19th. But
Yeah.
there could be an FA Cup game on the 12th.
yeah. Well, we haven't really got into it yet because normally we are about 2 or 3 weeks before the friendlies start doing all our bits and making sure the clock works on the turnstile and things like that, and that's when we get all the information. So not being able to get down to the club, we haven't got the information of what's starting and what's not starting at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
We usually like to, well, we have before. We painted the inside of our turnstiles to make it nice and white. Used to be that green colour you can see on the gates outside, but we painted it white to give it a bit more light than that. And it's also got a perspex shield that is over it that we put on a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and that is good because of now this COVID. People can come through without having to worry about breathing or talking to each other.
yeah,
The only gap is at the bottom where they pay the money, which
yeah.
is good.
So, what was your first games? Can you remember your first games that you went to see?
Oh,
I think the first game I was Wolford Abbey, something like that, because I remember that ground because I broke my leg roughing at their ground.
I can't remember my first one
Yeah.
actually. Memory of getting old don't always work together. But the games I remember watching, I think we might have been in Wolford Abbey or something like that, or Aware or something at home in the 1980s. But we used to do a lot of travelling, me and Colin, my mate, to the away matches, and because what we used to do in the 80s, there was 3 or 4 of us. There was one I was Man United, another mate was Man United, one was Crystal Palace, and one was Everton. We'd go once to their ground, and back to ours, and back like that. And then we said, you know what, it's cheaper to go to Harlow. So strange enough, because his mate weren't there, it worked out better for us to go to Harlow.
Mm.
And just to go on another thing, when I first started, when I was going to Harlow at the new ground, I used to go with my 2 boys, and it was really good. And I remember they were saying about we need to have a meeting about trying to get more people there. So we went upstairs. It was Ray Dyer was there, and I think Eric turned up. Ray Buddha turned up, and a few of us turned up. And we all had these little ideas, and one was we need someone to do a souvenir shop and maybe do the Golden Goal. And in the little shed they used to have, there was 2 wooden sheds. One had a little motorbike in it, and the other one was to one side. I've got pictures I'll keep on putting on Facebook and that of a granddaughter and that. And we used to go in there and hook all the scarves up, the badges, the cups, do the golden goals, and then what's her name? The girl in the office, blonde hair one. Jill came up to me and goes, "You wouldn't like to do the gatekeeper as well?" I go, "Yeah, of course I don't mind doing that." And from then onwards, I think 9 years I've been doing it now, which is not bad.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Jill got me into doing it.
Yeah, what it was is one time it was so busy that I'd run out of change. It was it might have been the Macclesfield game.
Yeah, it was Macclesfield. Yeah,
it was so packed. I didn't have any change. I kept on going up, Jill, like, you need change. Because like people were saying, yeah, 1 adult, 2 granddads and a child, whatever. So she said, right, open the main gate, the big gate, and just say to the people, if you've got the right change, come over and you can get in. Give you a ticket. But what was happening is people in the back were thinking that those all pushing in. So had people come to the front of the queue going, oh, 2 adults. I go, have you got the right change? You go, no. Go, get back in the line. But they had the right money.
Yeah, that's where the fun of the turnstile comes in because it's
So how often do you get trouble down there? Do you get much trouble down there from people when they come in?
Well, we sometimes do, don't we?
We get the awkward person.
Yeah.
Like one certain thing that we nearly had, I closed my side because I brought George was going to get beaten up at one time, and that was a bit of a scary one there. But apart from one team that we have to play, it's normally it's quite a good laugh, and they look forward to coming to the noisy ones. They usually get the noisy ones are still here. We've had quite a few photos taken of us. So I think we're unbelievable.
I think that was the police that took that photo. Though.
But no, in the turnstiles, we're the first ones that anybody sees. So, as I say, we have a laugh and joke, even with the visiting team. We always have a laugh and joke. And then they don't complain so much about how the price is at Harlow. That's the main one. We usually say, we'll see someone in charge and put the complaint to them. We're only told what to do. But no, as I say, it is enjoyable. I miss doing it in the turnstile.
Oh, we've missed it madly. Yeah. It really does. I mean, I like watching football on TV. I like watching football. And at the end of this, the last month or so, we were watching the Bundesliga together, just to get us into the football thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
One time, a woman came up to me and she goes, "Adult, please." So yeah, adult. She goes, "And you can let my dog in." Yeah, goes, "We'll pick her up, the dog, take her through." He goes, "Might have to open the gate." It was the one with the mascot.
Oh, right, yeah. Great Dane, yeah.
Constantly Victor.
When I opened the door, there's this horse, a dog, wearing a white and blue striped thing with like shorts on. And when I went to take the money down to where we take the money, it was sitting on a chair. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, fantastic. Yeah. You only get that in lower league, though.
And also the other one we used to enjoy coming down was Margate. It was the last game of the season. They used to do fancy dress.
Oh yeah.
And they turned up one year in their seafaring uniforms. One was a mermaid, all this lot, and it was a good laugh. And it took ages to get them through because we had a good laugh with them. And as I say, that's an enjoyable thing, and that's what I like to do. Show them that we're a friendly club and not as miserable as people try to make us out to be.
So, I mean, what memories have you got of games? Do you get to see many of the games when you're shut away in your little hut there?
Well, we shut away for half the match.
Yeah, half the match now that marquee's up there. We used to see 3/4 of the match before, but no, once it's kicked off, we've got a little system now where George on himself we'll go and get our burger and things to eat. Then when George comes back, he'll take over from me in the turnstile, and I'll go and get my food. And then we sort of just keep eye on the gate. If anybody comes, one of us will run up, take the money, and then come back to see what's going on in the field.
So, what games have been your most memorable games since you've been doing it?
I'll never forget the Hall Church game.
Yeah, the playoffs, that's the best one.
Never, ever will that go out of my mind. That goal that, is it Edie scored?
Yeah.
They won the ball from, 3/4 or 2/3 of the pitch in. From that, it was an absolute, it went straight and stayed straight.
Yeah.
The minute it left his boot, it didn't go up, down, side, or it just flew, and the keeper had absolutely no chance. Yeah. I think everyone will remember that goal for that reason as well.
Got a few bruises to show for it afterwards.
Yeah, I remember standing in because after we've done the money, because that was when they come thick and fast like that in the gates. We got no time to say boo to anyone, right? We've got to just do it, and you'll get people saying like, "You do a card?" No. Well, you don't do card. Yeah. Well, still no. It's not going to change from no to yes suddenly. So we'll get all that, but we let them all in, right? And then we went down the other side. I remember Sean had Taylor, my granddaughter, on his shoulders, and the goal went in, and everyone piled down to the fencing, and he's got still on his shoulders, and I'm thinking like, I'm looking after her. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure that she was safe. But I can't. Fantastic memories of the whole team. Brilliant.
Well, we interviewed the goalkeeper, Sam Mott, of Hornchurch, on my Monday night show, and he actually said he'd hurt himself earlier in the game, and if he hadn't have hurt his back, he would have got to it.
No,
You reckon?
no. Sorry, Mr. Goalkeeper from Hornchurch, but that weren't savable by quite a lot of goalkeepers. Maybe Premiership goalkeepers might have saved it, but I actually think that was hit so true and so well hit.
Right into the corner.
Oh, an absolutely blinding goal. A good way to say we won as well.
So, I mean, what was that like though when you've got that amount of people queuing up to get in? Was it just you or was there anybody else?
Because they opened third gate.
We still managed to have a good laugh. There was a third turnstile was opened at the other end, and that took a bit of relief off of us. I don't know how many they done, but so we also have a little competition, and we look at the clocks every now and again to see how many we've let through. So George usually cheats and wins, but as I say, that's one of our little competitions we have. Another one is how many £50 notes we get over the season.
Easy to do that. They always go to win with the £50 notes. I'll get the bloke who goes, 3 please. Oh, so happy, all the change. I can't believe it. I'll be here for an hour.
So what are your best memories then? We're looking at. I mean, what season would you enjoy? Have you enjoyed the most?
I would have to say the season before we went up was one of our best seasons. Because we got 100 odd points, and we lost in the semi-final. The playoff semi-final.
Need the market just picked that season.
It really was. It really was an absolute dampener on a really good season. In theory, 100 odd points, you'd expect to be promoted, but we just didn't, and it was quite a sad ending to a fantastic season. But then the next season, we come back a bit stronger. And like I say, the Hornchurch game will always be in my mind. I weren't about for the FA Cup run that they had back in the 80s or whatever it was, because I'd moved to Scotland for a couple of years up there. So I didn't get to see the Leicester. But you know what? Up there, they still do the news of the world. Someone's on the moon with Elvis and something stupid. But on the back page, it had all the FA Cup scores of England and all that, and I'd scan down it like that. Look, we only played Leicester and beat them. We only played Southend and beat them as well. And I couldn't bet it. And I wish I was down here for that. I tell you.
I mean, what games do you love the cup games? I mean, we had a good couple of cup runs, didn't we? We beat Bath City as well in the cup. As well, and that sort of thing. But I mean, do you enjoy cup games more than league games?
Yeah, the Bath one, I know we do that. And I was in Cornwall, and I had to go with my niece's husband. And I had to go then I had to go to the replay and stand in the Bath end, and I could see right down the other end. But as I say, I wanted to cheer, but I was a bit nervous of cheering there when he go.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Then thank me going back to Harlow from that. That was one that I did enjoy there. I was worried, but I couldn't cheer because I was at the wrong end.
What was the one where the lights went out? What was that game? The lights out. I think.
That's Brentwood.
Brentwood. We went to Brentwood. It was a replay, and about 20 minutes into the match, the lights went out, and it must have been out for nearly half an hour, and we was hoping that they'd get told that that we got a forfeit of going through because of the lights. But then, just as they said, "Oh, the referee said this and that," the lights came on, and we lost.
Was that Brentwood or was that Burgess Hill?
Brentwood. Burgess Hill. I remember going.
Burgess Hill. That one went out. That was the light failure and all. So there was another one. There was an argument because they didn't know who would pay because they didn't give tickets out. That was one of the Essex ones that I went to the wrong ground.
Oh right, yeah. There's one we went to. We put the sat nav on, and I had my sat nav, and he said, Alan goes, "It's all right, I know the way anyway." So he's driving. I'm going, "Wow, I would have took this left, and I would have took that right," and it's saying that we're still half an hour away from the ground. And now we're 45 minutes away from the ground. And I've got set nav on my phone. And then Alan went, damn, I'm in the wrong place, ain't I? So it's just scooting across country, get to the game. Oh, that's weird. We've got all silver faced.
So what's the furthest you've gone as an away fan? What's the furthest one you've gone to?
Well, the furthest one, that's got to be somewhere like Leatherhead and things like that.
Yeah, possibly that. It's around the motorway.
What about Wrexham? Did you go to Wrexham?
We've done Wroxham.
Yeah, done Wroxham.
It's
Yeah.
Norfolk. Southwark, Norfolk.
But I think the last, when we was in the Premiership the last time, I think that was a lot more driving than I've done before in going all the way games. Or it seemed like it. So whether it was for the motorway, we got too many traffic jams, or at Coleshill we went to the wrong ground, like the football team did.
Yeah, that was funny. That was. I directed us to the Coleshill football ground, and it was like a cricket field, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A small time cricket field, car park and everything, right?
Yeah.
So we got out, and then suddenly another car come up about 5 minutes after us. They took the wrong directions, and when we got to the right place, I heard that the coach also went to the wrong place. So that was quite funny. It was good that everyone else went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
Made me feel better.
They forgot to put athletic in.
Yeah.
Have you guys actually got favourite players through the years and favourite managers that you've seen at the club?
I will always like Alex Reid. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's been harshly done sometimes when he's had to play up front on his own. But he's got older now. I find he's got more confidence on the ball and holds the ball up pretty well and doesn't panic like some of the players do when they got the ball in that situation. But I'll have to say that what's his face? I've got a picture of him here somewhere. Can't remember his name though.
Jared Small is one of my favourites. And well, a lot of them we still keep in contact with them at their birthdays and things like that. So we send them greetings. It is nice now because because of the mobile, I suppose, mobile phone, we can keep in touch with the old players a lot more than we did. But as I say, in the old cup run at Watford, most of the players I knew anyway because they was all teachers. They used to help at a PTA, Parent Teachers Associations and things like that. I used to be visit, so a lot of the players I knew there. But as I say, there is quite a few of them that I've known. I've kept in touch with some of them, and always have a chat. And it's nice when you're going around actually now because I like wearing my shirt to let them know who I belong to. And there's quite a few people come up and say, "Oh, I'm half missing football." So hopefully we get a lot coming back when we do start. You found your picture yet?
No, I did like Danny Brown. I thought he was a very good defender. Absolutely brilliant. Very strong in defence. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like what's that one who played for not long left. Can't remember his name.
Lane Eddy?
No. Tall, coloured bloke. Am I allowed to say coloured?
Ibrahim Sonko.
Yeah, Sonko. What a player he was.
He was brilliant with the kids.
Yeah.
I used to go down and watch him in the training where he used to get them all singing, things like that. And I enjoyed that sort of this, looking at that sort of thing going on. And once again, it's the club's future, which I'd like to see us building up. They've got terrific youngsters now. So hopefully we might be up in Division 2 before I pick it.
So, I mean, what about the new season coming up? Who are you expecting to see has been appointed manager then when the new season starts?
Myself, I don't care who the manager is, right? But give him a chance. Give him a good throw of the dice. Don't all this about getting on someone's back before they've had a go. Let them have at least 2 seasons to have a go, right? It's my view, right? You would, and also, I'm not a fan of people saying sack him, get him out of the way. You wouldn't go into a bloke in an office and say, "Here, mate, you're shit. You need to leave the job." You wouldn't do that. The blokes, whoever it is who's in charge, it's a living. It's their way of making money, right? They don't send out a team to lose. Once the manager said what he says in the dressing room, the players then have to try and fulfil his what he said on the pitch. If they come off and it's 3-0 down at half time, you can't start going, oh, wrong formation, wrong this, wrong that. It's not easy being in charge of 11 people when you can only say from the touchline, you need to be there now. Or, you know what I mean? I just think give them a good fair run.
Yeah,
So,
that's the other way.
who would you pick?
He only had a few games before the season was brought to an end. Nothing. He should be given a fair crack of the whip because we don't know what he's like or what he could have done with the. I mean, he'd started bringing in new faces once again. So once again, we're going to start all from the start of the season. We don't know what's going on, who the manager is, how many players we've got, things like that. So we seem to be in a right limbo at the moment. But to me, it does anyway. That I look forward to seeing this one. I look forward to seeing that one, and where you did have someone who was playing, but we don't know whether the players have been kept on or what they have because it's such a long length of time, and you don't get it on the Facebook. You don't get so much information as you used to on that.
So what about games? What I mean, you're looking back from the time, and Alan, you've been there since as you said in the '60s and that. I mean, has there been memorable games for you that you've enjoyed, really stick in your mind?
There's quite a few that we've had good times down there. Once again, I'm getting old now. I can't remember half of the teams that used to play down there. But as I say, it was sad when we one season where we couldn't go into the league. And that was a sad season, really, because I know we played friendlies and things like that at the sports centre, but it lost a lot of the atmosphere. But it quickly come back once we started. And as I say, it felt like at Barrow's Farm, or whatever they want to call it now, we did start getting that feeling back where it was one good laugh and everybody enjoyed it and knew each other. Now, all of a sudden, it changed hands again, and a lot of the fans left because of things that they didn't think was right. And once again, we lost the atmosphere. And if we was to get that back, I think the team would do well, whoever they were.
Mm. I mean, with it, I mean, with the side, I mean, what was your feelings when I think first of all they were going to go to Royden Road, weren't they? I think the club, and then that fell through, and then off to Barrow's Farm. I mean, was there a lot of excitement amongst you fans when you knew you was finally going into a new stadium?
The fans that I knew when we moved from the sports centre to Barrow's Farm, I found a lot of the fans were moaning that it was hard to get there because there's no buses go that way, and that I've had to walk or casual lift things like that because sort of even in those few years ago, a lot of people didn't have a car and things like that. So, and a lot of us were old then when that first changed. So, a lot of us didn't drive, or I drove, but quite a few didn't. So I ended up going round and picking up a few as I put in my car and taking them. And that was the way round it. I tried to get it going, but as I say, I think it did spoil the club for a while. It died right down because the fans didn't want to get to the extent of trying to get to the Barrow's Farm. They weren't going to pay for a taxi or anything like that.
See, it didn't help out with the children either, because on a say, like for instance, a Tuesday 7:45 kickoff, I know for a fact if it was my kids, after the match, it's like nearly 9:15. It's getting dark in the winter. They got to travel home, but there's no buses. Very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, are you surprised the council haven't put in like a bus?
I am surprised. It surprises me because they say about supporting local businesses, but they're not supporting that. And I've always thought that the council are not too happy about Harlow having a club, in my view. Whenever you used to read the Star newspaper, it'd have this athletic person has done this person's done well at rugby, cricket, and there'd be a little small section like that, and it would be Harlow Town won again. You think, oh, wow, so happy to know.
So do you think then in the town, then, if you two went down the town tomorrow, did a survey tomorrow, and asked them one question, 3 questions. One is, where have Harlow got a first team? 2, where's the ground? And 3, what league do they play in? Do you think you'd get the right answers? And what would you?
One miss on that probably, and that is the fact they've got a team. I don't think I would say 90% won't know where it is, and 100% won't know what league it's in. That's my view,
and I'm very similar views to George really with that. Once again, we've got a management now that doesn't seem to tell us what's happening or give us information. I think this is a lot of unrest, causes a lot of unrest where they won't even look at it.
See, the fans will ask us questions. The fans will come in and say, "Do you know what's happening here? Do you know what's happening there?" They just, when they come early, say they're coming at 1:30, 1 o'clock, they'll come in, they'll have a little chat with us, and I reckon this is wrong, this is right, and that's wrong. But it can be right or it can be wrong. There you go, right? It's neither here nor there. But when they ask questions like, "How can I get down here on a I want to drink, I don't want to drive, but taxi can cost a few bob getting to, because it's right on the edge of Harlow is the football club." And I think that had it been somewhere more central, I think you might have got more fans.
Yeah.
So looking into the new season, looking forward to it. We now know that we're definitely in the South Central next year. Are you looking forward to all these newer clubs? Because some of those clubs, of course, haven't even come into our ground yet. Because there would have been some clubs that we haven't played.
I know a few are looking forward to FC Romania coming to us again to see what the goalkeeper's antics are. Because last season he threw the ball and he got booked. And a little while later he was going to do the same thing and realised the ref was watching him. And to my amazement, he got the ball and he bit a chunk out the ball. Spat it on the floor. Those sort of things. It's amazing, but
there's still
I'll never forget that bit.
There's still going to be fans out there, of course, that have never been to Harlow Town because clubs wise, because of course there might have been sort of 3 or 4 clubs that were due to come to Harlow at the end of the season that never got the chance to due to COVID-19. So I mean, new faces as well might be coming into the club as well.
Yeah, always good to see new faces, and we will always be ourselves. Like, try and be jolly, try and have a bit of a laugh with the fans, whichever ones they are, and just make them feel welcome. Like you say, we're the first faces you see, and the last thing you want to do is go to a ground thinking, "Oh, let them moyo bits." But we try to have a laugh and a giggle with them, and just make them feel welcome. That's the main thing. Who are whatever, if they've not played us or whatever.
Yeah, now we try to show that we're a friendly team. As I say, they're welcome to. As I say, any part of the ground you're welcome to go to, as long as you don't sit in the director's seats.
Or they can sit on the goal line about an hour and a half.
So through your time of being on the turnstiles, who's been your favourite club to come through the turnstile? And has there been any famous people come through the turnstile as well that sort of made you take notice?
I did have. He used to play Carroll.
Andy Carroll, yeah.
Once, I wouldn't let him in through the turnstiles. And I didn't recognise who he was anyway because he was so scruffy. I got told off by you, I think it was there. I should have let him in. But we've had a few people, as I say, they stopped us and said, "Can we take a photograph?"
Oh, we had an American lot come down, didn't we?
Yeah, American lot come down. They thought we was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we had to pose for photographs with our caps on and all sorts.
So what was
quite good?
What's been your favourite teams to come through though?
Margate are the greatest team.
I think Margate are one up there.
Yeah,
right up there.
Yeah, no, they've always been friendly. Worthing was another club that
I would say Enfield are one of our worst.
And No, I'm not going to say the words. Well, I'm going to hold judgment on that. No, as I say, most of them, but they are a good. We say we had a good trip there. What was it like, and all this lot. As I say, you got the odd. As I say, even the chairman of one club had a go at us because we wouldn't let him through the big gates.
Oh, yeah.
No, you've got to go down to the main entrance. Your name will be down there.
But I'm the director or whatever he said. Yeah. Doesn't matter. That's how we do it. If you go through the turnstile, it notches up another figure. Yeah. So now it looks like we're letting someone for nothing. Or we've got to pay for that person getting in. I tried to explain it. And then there's another guy on my side, and he goes, so we have to pay by card? Yeah. This woman goes, what about my daughter? I goes, right, okay, right. So it's £2 for your daughter and £10 for yourself, right? Okay, so £12. £2 for my daughter. She's something to do with the team. All right, so I let her in. So these two guys are still there going like, is it still paper card? The woman who's often hard about £2, I'll pay for them too. Really? Oh, God. Sometimes you sort of think like, are we talking in a different language? Yeah. But we enjoy it though, that's the thing.
Yeah. We got through the bad one all right. As I say, there's only been one really bad team that we know that was barking, to be honest. And that's the only one I thought was a nightmare. You can bleep barking out if you want.
Well, of course, you've got them again this season as well, because
yeah, we've got them again this season, but I'll hold fire on that one until we get there.
I'm going to pick up on something really quickly because I've been dying to say this, and I'm hoping that the people that do watch this will give me an answer. And what it is, right? We do a thing called the golden goal. Alan knows how I feel about this. We don't mind doing it. You put a pound in, everyone puts a pound in, and you pick out a number out of a pot. So if you're 45, it's scored on the 45th minute, you get half the pot of all the people that have signed up to do it. The other half is supposed to go to what's known as the supporters club. Now, in the old days, when I used to do it, the supporters club meant that you saved up the money that you got, and then you've got coach trips down to wherever it is, Margate or Falconer or whatever. But I've not noticed that we haven't had a coach trip for a couple of years or so. So when they said about this with the lights that need repairing, I'm thinking, surely that money that goes into that golden goal can help pay for the lighting. So my question to whoever it is who does the golden goal, whether it's Ian Harvey or Ian Bartham, is where does that extra half of the money go? Where does that get spent on? Because that puzzles me. And I don't mind. I mean, we both put £2 each in, trying to win maybe 30 quid or whatever. Just a bit of laugh, really. But I'm more satisfied with doing that as long as I know that the money that goes in is going the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll probably be cut out. Quick, edit Geordie.
As you're talking, I've just asked the question to Ian Barton, so we'll see if he comes back to us before we finish. But with all that, though, I mean, you look like as you said, you look like you really, really enjoy it, and all the rest of it. I mean, is it something that you want to carry on doing for the long time, or is it sometimes when you get to the winter you wish you weren't doing it?
No, not really, because as I say, to me it's a family. Because when my wife died a few years ago, and I didn't want to do anything, to be honest, but the club treated me the same as they usually do. When I come through the stall, I did let it be known I didn't want any sympathy. Quite a few fans who laughed at me and said, "Oh well, sod off to your mother," things like, and that makes you feel at home. And that the football club got me through the worst part of that at the first time. So, I own the club big time in that way.
Right, so I've got an answer for you.
Yeah, go on.
It goes into the supporters club account, goes towards hiring coaches, stock for the club shop, etc.
Right. So my question was obviously because we haven't had a coach trip for absolute ages, and I used to think that was a good way for the fans to all get to know each other on the bus. I mean, there was one time, I don't know if you remember it yourself, you might do, I got wrecked. I'll say wrecked, I got absolutely smashed and was an idiot on the way home in such a way that the coach driver was going to put me off on the M11 so he'd walk home because I was such a twat. But I'm one of these people that if I do something once, I'll learn by it and then I won't ever do that again. But I just think the coach trips used to be good for the fans as well as because when you get there, when you're on the bus, you're all singing songs and all that, and you're building up to the game that you want to go see. And then so you go into the game, and I think that because I think there's a bit of a divide with the fans at the moment. What used to be everyone standing in the what's name in this stands. Have you got now? You've got a group of people that stands beyond the goal, and you've got a small group of people that stands in the stand. And I think we're all supporting the same team. We're all going the same way. We all want the same thing. Why are you all together making a bigger noise together?
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But I suppose it's people's predicament wherever they want to go, isn't it? I suppose they want some. The older ones might want to go
on now. You to stand in the stands. So I know that sometimes a fan might say something that you might not like, right? Maybe grab them to one side and just say, look, I think you was a bit offensive by the way you said something. But still, as a whole, as a team, support the team and stand in the same sort of area. You don't have to stand right next to someone. They can stand 5 people down. As long as you're all cheering at the same thing. I just think that crowd, with the crowd, it can help a team improve or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So, last question for you. How do we go about then getting you more fans through your turnstile and getting more fans into the ground?
Well, I've said for ages, even when Jeff was in charge there, that I'm quite willing to give me a load of posters, fly leaflets, and I'm quite willing to go round Harlow, putting them through doors, things like that, to let people know. Like at the start of the season, do a fixture list on a little bit of paper, put it through the doors, then people will know when we're playing. Because you don't see any posters anywhere in the town when a game's going to happen. We had a brilliant one once where it showed up about these, letting people know we was in a replay of the cup. I can't remember who was playing, but also that day it was. What was it now? I'm not very good at remembering things. Oh, it was. Trying to think. What's the?
We'll come back to that.
Anyway, the fans were coming in, and they all had this foreign accent because it was another team. And you remember it, and they were saying, "Why is it so dear tonight?" And after a little while, after them talking into taking their £10, we realised that they was playing Enfield 1894 and Enfield that told them that the game was off.
Yeah, that was right. I think, in my view, about I think the pricing was wrong. In my view, to get people back, because the year before we went down, it was £12 adult, £8 concession, £2 child. We went down. It went from 12 to 10 for adults, 8 to 6 for pensioners or concession. The kids, £2 went to £2. That made no sense. Why are they paying the same? I think they should do little deals as well. Little deals like if you bring a family of 4, do a family ticket, right? Some people have got a family of 5. Well, then use common sense and try and work a way that it's less than if you played like 3 children and 2 adults. Work it out so that it becomes cheaper but worthy of them coming. I think some of it needs to be a little bit discretionary wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, we used to do a family ticket, but the children had to play for Harlow Junior side, and that was all right. But you used to get people questioning, why is it only one adult and a child or 2 children?
Yeah.
But a family ticket, as far as I was concerned, should be for a mum, a dad, and their children, and then do a deal, say 12, 14 quid for the family of 4, as long as it was a mum and dad and 2 little children, and that would encourage.
I just think that in the lower division, I just think that you've got to put, in my view, like my son Gary, right? He does his fishing, right? You put the rod out, we take on the hook, entice them in, right? Once we entice them in, right, then if everything's going well after a couple of years, maybe put it up a little bit, but don't do it when we go down and put the money down and then, you know what I mean? It's got to be done. The amount of people from other clubs, other supporters have gone, oh, you're the most expensive one in our league. You're the most expensive one, and we haven't got an answer for it. All right, and it's as our club is a sitting, a silent, not giant, I wouldn't say that, but of this league, we are silent, we're little, but we should be a lot bigger. We should be up with the Stevenages. You know, we should be. We've got so much potential in our club. It could go there, but it just needs the right direction.
No, I don't. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, guys, it's been a massive, enjoyment listening to you guys talking and reminiscing and as well about the future. We do wish you all the best. Wish your families all the best, and hopefully we'll see each other really soon because it's on the verges of coming back.
We know we're off from September anyway.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Look after yourself.